Okay, everybody, this is Sheets, and I guess to finish up the basics on the, you know, more standard type wagers, we're going to talk about the daily double. And in doing so, also about the pick three, pick four, pick five, pick six. And what all these kind of string bets have in common is that they all require you to pick winners in multiple races. So, for example, the daily double requires you to pick the winner of two races in a row. What we're going to do to analyze this is we're going to use those same races that we've been discussing over at Fonner Park and this seventh race that we've talked about ad nauseum during these reviews. And now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the Daily Double, which encompasses races 7 and 8, where it came in 7 Contraband in the first leg and 4 I'm Lucky in the second. And we're going to go through analysis of how efficient the daily double might be, and things like that. But the most important thing to remember is that while you would think that the payouts would be directly correlated to, say, the win pools, right? Because, if you have to pick 2 winners in a row, it's probably going to be similar to if you just bet both horses to win and kind of parlay them together. But the fact is that this is a completely different pool, right? The daily double pool is a pool in and of itself with its own takeout and different wagers, different monies in there. So it is entirely possible that the daily double between 2 horses that pay a certain amount to win might not necessarily reflect those win prices, just because it's a separate pool. So, like, for example, this is again the Express Bet grid, and what you can do is in the 7th race here, let's go back to 7th race, pretend we were betting here in the 7th race, you'd be able to tell under the doubles, like, this is a totally separate pool, what the doubles are. And, you'd be able to look up what these prices are. Like, let's say this is going to be a 7-4, right? Like, you would know what this is paying in advance. At least, for 30 seconds before post time where you'd have to put your bet in. So what I want to do is I want to kind of analyze, like, what the difference is between, let's just say you just wanted to bet him to win instead of the double. Like, how can there be such an inefficiency? Well, let's talk about this. Let's talk about what the odds should be for, say, picking 2 winning horses in a row. And let's use these particular horses as an example, okay? So what I did was, let me pull this back up here. Remember I did for the win pool, okay? I put in, this is our favorite horse again, the 7 horse here. Remember, this was the win pool, 92,506, 14,735 that was wagered, right? So what we're trying to figure out is first the raw chances that those 2 horses are going to win, both of them, right? So this first one, we have all this information in here. Out of 14,735 wagered, the pool was 92,506. You just divide that into 92,506 to get the chances that, at least implied by the win odds, that he's going to win. So you have 15.9% chance to win. So then what you want to do is you want to go to the second part of the daily double, which is the 8th race, and we're looking at the winner, so it's the 4. And you got to put the same information in here. So there's 112,306 in the win pool, of which 12,023 was bet on our guy. So again, you just wagered, you divide 12,023 into 112,000, and you have 10% chances of him winning. So again, we're not concerned about the takeout yet because we're just figuring out what the raw chances are that we're going to pick 2 winners in a row like this. So 15%, the first horse winning, 15.9. We multiply that by 10.7%, and you get this number right here, okay? 0.107? Is that right? Okay. So you have 0.017, you got to turn that into actual odds. So you divide that, right? You divide 1 over that, and you get 58.6. So the chances that both of those horses are going to win are about 58.6 to 1. So what is that going to be based on a $2 bet? So again, that's 2 times 58.6 add your $2 back, and you get 119.28. So assuming there was no rake, right, the odds that you would just be able to get that both those horses were going to win, you'd want to be getting $119. Now, again, only fair that the track gets its cut, right? So the daily double usually takes about 21% out. So if you take 21% out, you would see fair value, even with the rake, you'd want $94.23. Okay? That would be the chances, presuming that the win pool is efficient, presuming that these actually reflect their chances of winning, that would be, your fair value. Now, likewise, what you could also do, if you wanted to get the same action, you could just bet both horses to win, right? You could bet on this first horse to win, and again, now accounting for takeout, you'd put $2 to win on that first horse, and you get 10.29. Again, we're not rounding down for the purposes of this discussion. And then if you parlayed that money into this next horse, who would be getting 6.65 to 1 odds, then you would end up with a parlay of $78.86. So you would think that it'd be better to just play this daily double than doing the parlay, right? And the reason for that is because you only get one takeout, right? You only get dinged one time at 21%. You wouldn't get dinged on two different pools, okay? But the problem is that the actual daily double payout is only $66.80, which is brutal. So this has actually turned out to be a really, really terrible bet, which just ended up ended up winning. So you see, this is the actual daily double, $66.80. So what you could do is again try to gauge what you think the win price is going to be in the second leg, and then figure out whether daily double might be a good bet or not. It's usually a decent bet because, again, like you said, you get the 121% rake off the top, and you don't get two different 17% takeouts. But in this particular case, the 66.80 wouldn't be so great. That's, I guess, it. The only thing I would say is that one thing that's really different about the daily double versus the pick 3, pick 4, pick 5, pick 6, which requires you to pick more races, is that the daily double does tell you what your combinations are going to pay beforehand. Like, you could see that daily double pool. Whereas the pick 3, pick 4, pick 5, pick 6, you are flying blind. I've been clamoring for this for 30 years, and they just don't do it. They don't give out in advance what the pick 3s, 4s, 5s, and 6s are, even though they know what they're going to be. They don't tell you what the pick 3 is going to pay until after the second leg. They don't tell you what the pick 4 is going to be until after the third leg. And I have my reasons why they don't do that, but they just don't. So, if you're going to bet pick 3s, pick 4s, pick 5s, pick 6s, you are going to be, having to guess what these things are paying, but everybody's in the same boat. So, like, for example, if you feel as though, let's say, a horse in the last leg of a pick 5 or pick 6 is going to be, shorter than his morning line odds, then usually the pick 3 reflects more of the morning line than than anything else. So that's one thing you could do. But that's more strategy that we'll talk about another time. I just wanted to give you guys, again, just a walkthrough of these pools, how they're derived, what you're really betting on. You know what I mean? And again, if this was too arcane for you, I do think it's important that at least one time you do go through the math of all this stuff before you just, go ahead and start betting, because, you do want to at least have a sense of where your money's going and how these pools are created. So again, we did talk about win, place, show, exactas, daily doubles. We didn't even talk about trifectas, which require you to pick three horses in a row in the same race, superfectas, 4 horses, E5s, 5 horses in a row, and none of them what the payouts are going to be. We could talk about that some other time, but again, just wanted you guys to have a little introduction of all these different kind of standard pools.